The alarm on your phone buzzes at 6 in the morning, the same way it has for the past 4 years. You reach for it in the dark, and your fingers brush against the edge of an eviction notice you still have not opened. You already know what it says. You have 3 days left in this apartment and $41 in your checking account. You sit up. Your back aches from the mattress on the floor. Somewhere down the hall, your roommate is arguing with someone on the phone about rent, and you press your palms into your eyes and try to remember the last time you felt like you were winning at anything. Then your phone buzzes again. Not the alarm this time. An email. Subject line, wire transfer confirmation. Your stomach drops before your mind even processes the number. You open it with shaking hands, certain it is a mistake, a phishing scam, something cruel designed to hurt you further. But the sender is your bank. The amount reads $240 million. A settlement from a lawsuit you filed 2 years ago against a company that stole your patent. A lawsuit you had already given up hope on. A lawsuit your own attorney told you to walk away from. You do not walk away from $240 million. Your hands are shaking so badly you drop the phone. It lands screen up on the floor, and you stare at the ceiling, at the water stain shaped like a country you have never visited, and you realize your entire life has just changed in the space of a single notification. You do not tell anyone yet. You go to work. You clock in at the warehouse like nothing happened, because some part of you is terrified that if you say it out loud, it will disappear. You move boxes for 6 hours with a secret sitting in your chest like a stone, and every person who talks down to you, every manager who barks an order, you absorb it silently, because you know something they do not know. By the time you get home, the money has cleared. You do not sleep that night. You sit at your kitchen table with your laptop open, refreshing the account balance every few minutes like it might vanish. The first call you make is to a lawyer. Not your old one, a new one. Someone who specializes in wealth structuring. Her name is Elena Vosk, and she does not smile when you tell her your number. She says one sentence that will define the rest of your life. From this point forward, everyone you meet wants something from you, and most of them will pretend they do not. You think she is being dramatic. You are wrong. Within a week, word gets out. You do not know how. Maybe someone at the bank talked. Maybe your old attorney mentioned it to someone. Maybe it was simply inevitable. Your phone begins ringing with numbers you do not recognize. Your inbox fills with messages from cousins you have not spoken to in 15 years. All of them suddenly warm. All of them suddenly remembering birthdays they never remembered before. Your childhood friend Marcus calls crying, telling you he is proud of you, and then 20 minutes later asks if you can front him $60,000 for a business he has not started yet. You say yes. You do not know yet that saying yes the first time creates an expectation that will follow you for years. The apartment complex you are about to be evicted from sends a manager to your door personally, apologizing, offering to waive the notice, offering you the penthouse unit at a discount. The same building that ignored 3 of your maintenance requests last winter now wants to keep you as a tenant. You laugh, and you move out anyway. You buy your first car with cash, a black sedan. Nothing flashy, because Elena warned you that flash draws the wrong kind of attention before you understand the rules of this new world. You wear the same jacket you always wore into the dealership, and the salesman barely looks up from his desk. 15 minutes later, after your identity is confirmed through the wire transfer, that same salesman is calling his manager over, offering you champagne, offering you the keys to 3 other vehicles on the lot, calling you "Sir," in a tone he did not use 10 minutes earlier. You notice how easily people flip. You start noticing it everywhere. The first restaurant you walk into with real money in your account, the hostess almost turns you away for not having a reservation, until she sees the card you hand over, until the manager recognizes the account tier, and suddenly there is a table waiting that was not there 60 seconds ago. A bottle of wine you never ordered arriving free. A level of attention you never received when you were invisible. It should feel good. It feels strange instead, like standing on ice that has not fully frozen yet. Elena sets up your first meeting with a wealth manager, a man named Griffin Cole, who explains to you, calmly, over a mahogany table, that you now belong to a different economic species. He tells you the number that separates people who work for money and people whose money works for them. He tells you the tax strategies, the trust, the offshore structures, words you had never needed to understand until this exact moment. He tells you something that stays with you. There are $240 million in that account. In 1 year, if invested correctly, that account can generate more income doing nothing than you would have earned in 40 years of working. You sit with that sentence for a long time after the meeting ends. 3 weeks in, you attend your first private event, an invitation that arrived through Griffin, a gathering of people whose names you recognize from headlines. You wear a suit that cost more than your old monthly rent, and you stand in a room lit by chandeliers, surrounded by people speaking in low, confident tones about companies they own, boards they sit on, deals moving through countries you have never visited. A man in his 60s, silver-haired, introduces himself as Julian Reyes. He does not ask what you do. He asks what your number is. You hesitate. He smiles like he already knows, like the hesitation itself confirms you are new. Everyone in this room knows within 5 minutes of walking in, he says. The only question is whether you know how to keep it. That sentence sits in your chest like a warning. Julian invites you to a private group, one that does not have a name you can search online, a network of people who meet quarterly to discuss investment opportunities not available to the general public. He tells you the entry threshold is $100 million in liquid assets. He tells you most people who reach that number do not survive the following 5 years with it intact. You ask him why. He says it is because money without discipline invites predators, and the wealthier you become, the more sophisticated those predators get. Not muggers, not street criminals. People in suits. People who smile at you in rooms exactly like this one. You begin to understand that wealth is not a finish line. It is a new game with new rules, and you do not know them yet. 6 months in, your family begins to fracture. Your sister stops speaking to you after you decline to give her husband $400,000 for a restaurant investment Griffin flagged as almost certain to fail. She tells you that you have changed, that money has made you cold. You want to explain that saying no to bad decisions is not coldness, it is survival. But she has already hung up. You start keeping a mental ledger of who reaches out because they miss you and who reaches out because they need something. The ledger grows heavier every month. A woman named Priya enters your life around this time, introduced at a charity gala by Julian himself. She runs a foundation. She is brilliant. She does not ask about your net worth even once during your first 3 conversations. You find that rare enough to be suspicious, and then rare enough to be genuine. You start seeing her. Elena warns you to have a prenuptial conversation early, long before any proposal, because she has watched too many of her clients lose half of everything to relationships that started with good intentions and ended in courtrooms. You hate that this is now a mandatory conversation in your life, a conversation about protecting yourself from someone you are falling for. You have it anyway. Priya agrees without hesitation, and that alone tells you more about her than any romantic gesture could. 1 year in, your net worth has grown, not shrunk, because you listened to Griffin, because you diversified, because you said no more often than you said yes. You now sit on the board of 2 companies you invested early into. You attend meetings where your opinion silences a room, not because you are the smartest person present, but because you are the person whose check clears. You notice how differently strangers treat you now. Not just waiters and salesmen, politicians. A senator's aide calls your office requesting a meeting about a policy your industry cares about. A journalist who once would not have returned your emails now wants an exclusive profile. A university you attended, one that rejected your request for a tuition extension a decade ago, now wants to name a building after you in exchange for a donation. You laugh at the building offer for longer than you expect to. Julian invites you deeper into his circle after your 2nd year, a level he calls the inner table, a group of maybe 20 people worldwide who move capital between governments, industries, and crises in ways that never make headlines. He tells you the entry point here is not simply wealth, it is discretion. It is the ability to make decisions that affect thousands of lives without ever needing your name attached to the outcome. You are handed your first real test at this level. A struggling manufacturing town, 4,000 jobs on the line, a factory your consortium can either save through investment or let collapse for a faster return elsewhere. The financial logic favors letting it collapse. The human cost does not. You sit alone in your office at 2 in the morning with the decision in front of you, and you think about the eviction notice you never opened. Still sitting somewhere in a box from your old apartment, a relic of the life you almost lived. You choose to save the jobs. It costs you $11 million in projected returns. Julian tells you that decision either makes you a legend in this circle or marks you as sentimental. And he will not tell you which one until years from now. By your 3rd year, you understand something Griffin told you on day 1, but that you could not fully absorb until you lived it. Wealth does not change who you are. It reveals who you were capable of becoming all along, for better and for worse, because it removes every excuse that used to stand between your values and your actions. The world treats you like royalty now, opens doors before you reach them, remembers your name before you say it, laughs at jokes that were not funny when you had nothing. But you have learned to see through most of it, to separate warmth from strategy, loyalty from access. Your sister calls again on your daughter's 1st birthday, the first grandchild in the family. And this time she does not ask for anything. She just cries on the phone and tells you she missed you. You do not know yet if this is real or another version of the ledger. But for the first time in years, you choose to believe it anyway. Because some risks are worth taking even at this level of the game. You stand at the window of your office that night, looking out over a city that once ignored you completely. And you think about the boy who moved boxes for 6 hours with a secret in his chest, terrified to say it out loud in case it disappeared. It did not disappear. It multiplied into something far heavier than money, something closer to responsibility, something that changed every relationship you have ever had and revealed every person's true intentions, whether you wanted to see them or not. You made it to the top of a world most people only imagine. So here is the only question that matters now. If the world suddenly treated you like royalty tomorrow, do you actually know which people in your life would stay exactly the same?